welcome to United View. Welcome to Road Trip Extra as we get into the latest Manchester United news and some transfer news coming in as well. We're going to talk about Kalvin Phillips. We're going to talk about him not wanting to stay at Leeds, pushing for a move, changing agents, according to Samuel Luckhurst and other sources. And also we're going to talk about Ralf Rangnick. Rangnick stays, but Rangnick also leaves. They're both statements that are technically true. At the time of recording this, we have not got confirmation yet, but we are expected to hear the confirmation of Ralf Rangnick becoming the manager of the Austrian national team at the same time, which he already confirmed last night, as taking over his consultancy role for the next 2 years, which he seems quite happy with. But let's start with Kalvin Phillips. And according to Samuel Luckhurst and some other sources as well, Leeds are resigned to losing him, but they expect to keep him this year. And they think that what's going to put teams off going for Kalvin Phillips this summer is the 60 million valuation of the player. We were looking at signing him, and that's been a thing, hasn't it, for the last couple of months or so. And the first fee that was kind of reported in the media was about 40 to 50 million. And a lot of people were saying that that's good business. A lot of people were saying that, it's a way cheaper alternative to the likes of Declan Rice. And there was other reports saying that the fact that Manchester United aren't going to get Champions League football, that would rule us out of being able to move for Declan Rice, the likes of Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham. But they would be astronomical money, if not, all of our transfer budget in one, pretty much. But a lot of people were saying that the Kalvin Phillips deal would be good for, good economical value when we're trying to rebuild the squad. And even people who weren't really fancying Kalvin Phillips have been like, you know what, if Erik ten Hag wants to get a player of that mould, of that ilk, young, on the way up, can run with the ball, can travel with the ball, a decent screener of a back four, then who are we to tell him no? But a lot of people was also like, no, not for me, not good enough. So it weighs opinion. You don't really know. There isn't one opinion that kind of sticks on Kalvin Phillips. I think it's quite split. Some people like him, some people don't think he'll be the right answer for our midfield problems. But if it was that's what I'm going to ask you. If it was going to be towards 60 million, would that change your minds? I think a lot of people were saying, like I said, were attracted to it because it was a really, cheaper alternative to Declan Rice, which actually technically it still is. 60 million versus 150 million is still a big difference. But would people then start saying 60 million right now is too much for Kalvin Phillips? I probably would say so. I want to try and get him for about 40 to 50. But then again, if you do want Kalvin Phillips in your team and he's Leeds' most, influential player, if not their best player, alongside Rafinha, of course, and others. But he's a big figure, Leeds boy, come through their academy, I believe, and he's Leeds through and through. They want to keep him. Jesse Marsch is going to want to keep him all, as long as they can. They know they're going to lose him eventually, but he's worth that to Leeds. It's the same with Declan Rice. I don't agree he's worth anywhere near 100 million, let alone 150 million. But in terms of what he's worth to West Ham in that squad and how good he is, they're entitled to do that. Jack Grealish happened the same thing at Villa. We call it astronomical money, but it's English tax, and it's whatever that selling team sees the value of that player in their team, and they're entitled to do that and cash in. I'm not sure Man United will spend 60 million on him, but we can test the resolve. If we go and put 45 plus add-ons down, our Leeds going to reject that. Especially another part of the report is that Samuel Luckhurst is reporting that Kalvin Phillips is in the process of changing agents because he wants to push a move. He wants to move this year. So if that's anything to go by, will they respect Kalvin Phillips' wishes? They don't want an upset player there. How much can Leeds results be tested versus how much does the player want to leave? These are all factors in a transfer, as opposed to just, this isn't just as simple as there's just a release clause. You pay the release clause and, we're free to talk to the player. I think they know they're going to lose him at some point. They want to keep him this year. He's Mr. Leeds, basically. But if he knocks on their chairman's door or Jesse Marsch's door and says, I want to leave, and I want you to listen to offers for me, and then that's followed by Man United slapping down 45 million plus 10 million add-ons, depending on this or on that. Our deals are formulated. If it is rising to 60 million, we definitely won't be paying 60 million, in my opinion, during this summer. If it was, I think it would be an initial 45, 40, maybe 50, and then that's rising with 15 million add-ons if he makes the World Cup squad, or he gets Europe, or whatever add-ons. You know what it's like. You know what it's like. Everything's an instalment. So although it might sound outlandish that 60 million's a crazy amount of money, which again for Kalvin Phillips, to me, he's not worth that. Again, it's the English tax and it's the importance that he has on Leeds, but we have to remember that one, if Ten Hag wants him and he could be a big important part of that cog that he wants to change, then we've got to get behind it. And two, that will be in instalments. Do you know what I mean? As are most transfers these days. So we'll have to watch this space on it. I think this is going to be one that won't go away. I think there's definite concrete interest. The sources that have been reporting this since the start, from when we got the first initial 40 million reports, they've been quite vocal about it. And now, like you said, we've now added Samuel Luckhurst into that with a development today as well. So let's see where we go from here and how this one pans out, because I don't think this one's dead in the water. And I think Kalvin Phillips, and I think Gabby on TalkSport was saying he would rather him go to Aston Villa. He thinks he'll probably be better off going there. If Man United come knocking for Kalvin Phillips in this new Ten Hag revolution and say, this is what your wages are going to be, bro, they wouldn't say it like that, but this is what your wages are going to be. You're going to double or triple your wages. We want you. We're slapping down this much money on you. You're going to be an integral part of us going forward. Paul Pogba's leaving. Matic is leaving. You're definitely going to play. I think he snaps it up personally. I think he does. So let's see. Let me know what your thoughts are on Kalvin Phillips. Should Man United be going anywhere near him? I know there's a lot of strong feelings on that side of the fence in terms of no, and then there's strong feelings on the other side of the fence, which is absolutely, this is a great Ten Hag sign and he fits the profile. He's energetic, he gets about the pitch, he's good in the tackle, and he's decent on the ball. So let me know about that. And the second part to finish off with Ralf Rangnick. I don't really know what to say about this, because Rangnick stays. Rangnick has confirmed he's staying on for his 2-year consultancy role. But like I said, he's expected to be announced as the Austria manager very shortly, later on today, which will come in a press conference in Austria this afternoon. So technically he's leaving. Look, I just feel like with him having the consultancy role, I just need to see what it looks like. Things sound good in name, and I want Ralph involved in the club. I think he's been a breath of fresh air personally. Yes, it hasn't gone well on the pitch. Let's just be honest and call spades spades. Doesn't matter if Pep came in as an interim manager, he wouldn't have got us playing any better than we were with that team. He wouldn't. He would have done the same things, and we would have been trying to do things, and we would have seen them fail, because the team's not very good. It needs rebuilding. But in terms of speaking up the things and talking up the things and being honest, I think he's been very refreshing. And towards the end of the season, as he's getting closer to not being the interim manager anymore, he's letting the cat out of the bag even more. Some people think he's being too honest and don't like it, but Ralph's here for a good time, not a long time. Do you know what I mean? He owes none of these players any loyalty. And he has the power, or I say power, he has the opportunity to put his opinion forward on how to reshape the squad. And we have seen reports that Paul Mitchell's on his way in as well, which would be fantastic to have him and Ten Hag there. As well as Ralf Rangnick, kind of, proper football people. So I want him to stay. I just don't know what that looks like. If he's the manager of Austria for a little bit and he has a consultancy role, I just don't know. He obviously seems happy with it. In the press conference yesterday, he was saying that I can confirm I will be there with my, the 2-year consultancy role, and I've spoken with the board, etc., etc. So for that to happen,
consultancy, fam, it's not hard. They'll be like,
yeah.
Oh, do you know what? Oh, I don't know what we should do on this. Let's call Ralph.
Yeah, it's call Ralph,
ring,
but
ring,
it's not. It's
ring.
a bit like, I don't know, man. A lot of it can work, because when you're an international manager as well, it's a lot less full on than club level. So that's fine. And I saw something like that. That thing was only going to be till 2024 as well. Which is about the 2 years a bit Man United as well, but we are coming up to halfway through this year, to be fair. So in 18, it's only like an 18-month deal. It looks like it's going to be, but I don't know. It can work. It can work if they listen. Like, I don't know. We kind of have to have a bit of optimism that the club's going to change, and the whole point of them even paying Ralph and having him around on that consultancy role, and they'll have to pay him very well to do that. And Ralph doesn't strike me as the person that would just accept it if it was shit, if it wasn't on his terms. So maybe, do you know what? I'm going to lean on the air of positivity because it's been so shit this year. I'm going to say that's definitely a good thing. It's better to have him at least on the end of the phone than nothing, you know? He's obviously not going to be at Carrington and base from there, but if he's going to consult regularly and they're going to take on the advice, and he's been able to make a scathing analysis, even though he says he hasn't made a dossier, that's for, you know, the board and the people making the decisions. At the end of the day, Ralph spent time right in and amongst it. Do you know what I mean? He's going to have big opinions on what should happen, and he's going to share those opinions. So he might not have compiled a dossier, but he basically has, because he's going to be able to unveil all of the things that he thinks are wrong and the direction that they should go in, alongside Ten Hag and hopefully, fingers crossed, Paul Mitchell. So it is a good thing, but Rangnick does stay, but also Rangnick does leave, and we'll have to work out and see just how much they listen to him. That's the key. How much is going to change, and we have to wait and see in the summer. Smash a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you are new. That's your daily dose of Manchester United news. We'll be back later on this evening as well, live for you guys. And let me know in the comments what you think about Ralph staying. Is that just lip service for you? Is that just another way of saying, oh yeah, he is here, we are listening to him, but really we're not? Or do you think it's a good move? And let me know about the Kalvin Phillips situation as well. Would you bust the gut to try and get him? Do you think he's important for Ten Hag? Or do you think we should stay well clear? I'm out of here. Peace.